Hey there, beloved Ascension pioneers. Welcome to again a video in nature. This one is pretty interesting because it's a bit rainy and I didn't want to go home yet. I just found this beautiful space under like a tree, under the root, and I put the camera on top of one root of the tree, and I'm just sitting like in a hole, and it's very comfortable. It's very elvish. So it rains all around and I feel like in this cozy little spot, so it's perfect. I picked this perfect spot because I wanna try something different today at the end of the video. I'm sorry, I just was eating my peanuts, so my throat is a bit dry. So have my last sips of water. I hope this will be okay. I wanted to record something, and then at the end I want to sing a vibration, because today I want to dedicate a few words to the original source frequency of the Grand Central Sun and the frequency of Elohim. I was going through some of my old writings, and during the 2011, which for me was a big personal gateway, the guidance of Elohim really were coming through strongly, and I just couldn't negate it. There was a time in my life that I pushed this aside because I didn't want to really talk about it, and at a certain point I still don't want to, because I think most people won't understand what this means, and there's only a few people who really understand what the consciousness of Elohim is truly all about, because there's so many channelings and people channeling and all those sorts of things, and even Elohim, which when I hear that frequency I know it's just not that. And there's just a lot of things, but today I want to just focus on bringing that prime source frequency through, and at the end I'm gonna try to take away a bit of that shyness and just do what's for the highest good, because I want to bring that through frequency. Most people who do channelings and they talk different things, but I feel that true source creator, co-creator beings who are masters of the elementals, who are masters of creation, they work through song, they work through frequency that is just pure love. It is the love of creation. Before I begin explaining more about this, I want to read you the little short segment of my automatic writing. It's pretty scattered, but I'm going to try to put it together. This is about the Grand Central Sun frequency and the root race, so the divine human beings, the first primal origin. I was writing about the meaning of Elohim, the prime co-creator beings with source frequency. And a lot of us volunteer souls, as you know, there's many of us on different levels of soul awareness and purpose, of course, that's what it means. And we have different specific tasks. So my friend just told me in a letter how somebody said to her, they heard guidance that they're the oldest soul living here now on earth, and she was laughing because you know how it is. Spirit doesn't talk to us in that way. It doesn't talk through ego. So when we receive guidance about our purpose, we receive guidance about our variation of creation, our uniqueness of the purpose, what we do here vibrationally, and we don't receive guidance which is ego-based, which is keeping us separate. That means, I'm bigger than everybody else, I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more ancient. This doesn't go that way. So when I'm going to talk about these things, please remember that originally we all come from the same place, which is not even a place. It is a space of divine love that births all soul essences forth, and it is the Grand Central Sun. So there's a lot of us who during our path here, during our service here, we carry that frequency directly in its purity. It's untainted, and it doesn't have any other connotations to it. So a lot of times for me personally, what I can share is that on my path there's a lot of individuals who write to me in a very similar manner, and they always write to me that they kind of urge to write to me, and that they feel that I remind them of home and of a sisterly vibration. A lot of times, because I'm a woman, a lot of male specimens also, they confuse sometimes this with the feeling of falling in love. And they feel this sort of sense of adoration towards you. But what this really is, when you have that Grand Central frequency within you, you serve as a direct reflection of their own unique, pristine nature, without those filters, and that which you are in full transparency, your first primal frequency. A lot of souls during their long journeys here and on other planets of incarnation, when they were experiencing creation in a more dense matter, they kind of forgotten a bit about it, and that it depends how much veil, how thick it is around them. But there's beings now here on earth that carry that direct forward transmission of that Grand Central Sun frequency, though. The first primal root race design. So I'm going to read you this from the my notebook, whatever, and I'm gonna just share how this came to me already in 2011, and they just kept coming to me, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me back then, but I did a few writings on what the Elohim really are. It's not about the who, remember, it's about what. The what means frequency. It's their unique specific purpose in creation. Individuals who are maybe experiencing awakening for the first time might be fooled by different channeled entities that come through different beings, but you will recognize a true frequency of that design when you know what that design is, when you understand their purpose. So when somebody might present themselves as a certain master coming through in a certain channeling, or beings of such and such nature, when you will know what their prime nature really is about, what their variation of creation is, you won't be mistaken, and you won't be able to be manipulated in such terms that a certain being coming through can, they can advertise themselves as anything. They can really grandiosely come and say, I'm this, and they say a few words, but it's about the resonance behind it. So when you're really dealing with a being that is of prime source frequency, you will feel it. You will feel such immense love that will touch you. And how I receive this is when I sing. So yesterday I came home from the mountains, and I read an email from somebody, and they said they had an energy exchange with me during the dream, and how we embraced. And then she said to me, wow, you're really tall in the dream world. And I said, wow, because I had the same dream a few years ago. Spirit showed me, because I was literally starting to grow and grow and grow, and I was observing others below me, and I could see my expanded spirit self. So this is our spirit form, our spirit body. And during the dreams, those who are open, they're open to receiving that primal frequency that you're here to emanate. It's not connected with the confusion that sometimes people who like to they like to place labels, or they like to perceive you through the mind, because they're still not maybe capable of seeing the reality behind what truly is. So they might be mistaken. They might see something as a certain how their mind interprets that. But those individuals who are really open and receptive to these frequencies, which are of prime source nature, they will know what they're about. So when I had the dream a few years ago, I just knew that this is about my spirit form, nothing else. It doesn't mean I'm bigger than somebody else, or or older, or anything like that. Like I said, wisdom is universal. It's what you're aligning yourselves with. It's the path that you're constantly choosing on your path of mastery. So when that person said that to me, I felt really good from within. I felt once again like a message, know this is so, you see. And I just went to have a shower, and I began to sing. And I remembered how back in 2011 I was singing a song. It was Elohim. It was completely sourced in the moment. And that song created this beautiful bubble of love all around me, and it even changed the weather, because it was raining everywhere except on me. Because later, as I was going home, it was raining. I was like, wait a minute, it wasn't raining before, because literally that frequency, that love of the divine, just created this natural shield, that natural force field all around me. So this is how it felt. So when you're dealing with these designs that are of primal nature, know that it's felt through frequency. It's not about, I can say, I am this, I am that. Remember, nothing is ever as it seems. You will see things when you see through your inner vision. That's how you will know. Okay? And those of us who really walk that higher path, we don't care about, presenting ourselves as something or a certain entity. We're just focused on doing our job here. And we do it for the love of creation. So the Elohim are beings, this is my light family, and they're beings who are only concerned about the well-being of all. They serve only the one. You always say, I serve only one. I serve the one. And they know the principles of creation, because they're one of the beings who actually contribute to those principles, who are interconnectedly involved with them. So I want to read this to you, and then we will see what comes forth. But I said this in a matter of understanding that love for creation is something different that we as humans might still perceive as love, or that falling in love, or the love of creation is just the love of all life and all principles and the beauty and the grace of the nature of all life in creation. So when you have that love, when you hold it in your vibration, others will feel it, so they'll be magnified towards you. And if you carry that love within you and you have it awakened in your embodiment, then others will also be magnetized towards you as an Ascension pioneer. So this is about the primary source frequency, the first primal source beings that we all in truth are. It's just about unlocking that potential. That's why the benevolent beings who talk to us at all times, and even those of us who are connected with being, aware of us being these beings, we are only focused on emanating that and bringing the message of unity, not putting yourself separate. So there's a lot of people who still say, wow, thanks to this master, or thanks to these beings, and instead of stepping in their own power towards developing their seed soul potential, towards remembering that we brothers and sisters, no matter what the difference in variation of creation might be, that's the nature of the soul, incarnation, and purpose. But it's still one. We're still birthed from that same central sun frequency. So there's many beings in creation, as it says here, but the root race remains one. So the primary design for the human race, as it was designed, it's always one. It's always as it is. We all have a seed of that root race within us, and we begin to awaken it, and as we do, it begins to awaken it. It begins to activate, pardon me. Many races in the multiverse were playing and altering the human genome, so the human design, and its genetic structure, so the DNA and the basic structure of that. But in the truth of one, they can never alter the prime divine human being template. So you see, it's the root race lives already as a seed potential in all of us. What we're doing now through the embodiment and integration of Ascension, we're bringing it forth for the final time. This is a very pivotal age we're living in. So it is the very essential core source frequency, and it emanates from the grand central sun, and no one can alter the divine truth of source creation. There can be alterations, of course, and these playing with the genome, but the prime source template and divine geometric design stays. It remains as it is, because remember, love just is. When a human or a collective race of beings begins to awaken and activate that dormant potential, they can begin to experience that frequency and level of being, because it's about not knowing that something exists, but you literally have your own physical experience of it. It flows through you. You become that flow. So then one also begins to integrate and embody and emanates that out into the collective energy field. And this is when you begin to magnetize that. When you emanate it out, you also consciously magnetize it towards you. And when one serves on such a level of awareness through the grand central sun frequency, one serves all that is and the bigger picture. So the Elohim and other beings who are very important, because they do share a perspective of oneness. They share about the principles of creation that are in unity. So they're those of us, like I say, from the realms of illuminated truth, there's many beings who serve the one. So you can see that as a group of many, but all serving the one. And when you are plugged into that serving one in all life, you're actually plugged into that prime grand central sun frequency. And this is what it is. It's not just in me. So when somebody likes me or feels resonance towards me, or even falls in love with me, you know what I mean? It's all falling in love with life. It's all falling in love with the basic nature that created us. It's that prime source frequency, because when somebody has that embodied, they live that way. They live their magic. And people who are also open, they will feel it. So they're naturally drawn to that, because they also want to be in that space. This is what it is about. It's not about falling in love in a human kind of sense. You just have a certain ideals about somebody, and you don't really know them, so you just think you're projecting something like an idea about them. But in truth, there's something deeper, and you got to explore it. So when you're magnetized towards something, you should ask yourself, what is this really? What is the behind the scenes dynamics that is making me, so magnetized towards this? So, like I said, when I came home yesterday, I began to really sing this beautiful melody. Just looking for something, because when I tune into that, I want to show you this beautiful new knitted bag that my mom made me. It's has an angel with its wing and a spiral of light below it. So I have my crystal ball here. It can help me. I hope there's nobody here. And you see the angel. And This is we all have these aspects, like I said. And it's very important that when we tune to the vibration of these aspects, we tune into through the frequency, through the sound. As you know, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, what it is explained in the creation story is that those who created the worlds and all beingness, they sang everything into being. So a few years back, that song of the Elohim came through me, and it just touched me. It left me breathless. When I later tried to remember it, I couldn't, because it was just so in the moment. So yesterday I sang another one, and it just brought me such a beautiful frequency. So all these beings, all aspects of creation that are purely benevolent, that carry that grand central sun frequency that we're now opening up to. You know, it's also the sun serving us with these conscious soul rays emanations, and you know, the solar flares. And these are all coming from the central sun, and behind that, the sun behind the sun, which is the grand central sun, which births life through all the physical suns, and that come later seed on the planet. So when you sing something, when you invite a certain presence in your life, you actually connect with the energy with it. Not just the channelings or the words or anything that sounds fancy and glitters on the outside, but you really, really connect to that, with that core frequency of it. So if you want to, for example, connect to the consciousness of Elohim, all you have to do is ask. And if you're ready and this is in your path, you will receive. You will be guided. You will be shown certain truths. You will definitely be shown principles of creation. You will have a bigger and higher perspective and understanding. So let's just try this, to do it together as a group. It will be me doing that, but it is all of us together as one. Remember that. So what you do is you can just imagine a certain being or anything that, or even the frequency of the grand central sun, however you imagine it. It's like, it could be like a glowing ball or golden white light. It can be anything. However you imagine it, doesn't matter. It's the frequency that you're tuning yourself to. And then just take a few deep breaths. And then you just begin to sing, and you sing out of love for all life. You feel like you're birthing life. You feel like you're birthing new suns and these new stars through yourself. And whatever comes through, it's always perfect, and it's always coming through divine grace. So just ask to be in a space of divine grace. combining the pure frequencies of the Grand Central Sun, being the flow of purity and of grace divine. The love of creation we are, the love of creation we experience, through the knowing and the love of one. So much beauty, grace, and of course, as always, love, wisdom, and